It's been 34 days since I last posted on this channel. Now, I've dipped out of YouTube my entire young life, but I never expected that at uni. You know, I'm going to do a course where I make movies, and I thought, well, naturally I'm just going to make more videos, aren't I? But I just haven't, and that's really taken me by surprise. For significant periods of my life, I've posted every single day, and I guess that's just dictated by the rest of my life. How much time I have to spend on YouTube, how much motivation I have for YouTube, because you invent your own motivation. I'm a massive believer in that. You don't sit around and wait for motivation to come to you. You've got to go and get your own. But I've just been so distracted by uni work. The thing is, that's the important thing right now. I'm just trying to get my degrees to get where I want to be in life. So I guess YouTube's just been a little less important to me. And it's kind of weird because in Japan in August, while I was vlogging there, I thought I would be able to vlog all the time while at uni because I was so busy the entire time, and I still managed to get a video out every single day. And I think it's because no matter how confident you are, moving out is always a traumatic experience. Not necessarily in a bad way. I'm not trying to say I've had a terrible time. I've been thriving at university. Socially, work-wise, I've got a job, I'm earning money, I'm traveling. I'm doing well, but it's still a big change. Don't let anybody tell you that it was very easy for them to move to university. You're still quite young, and you still, like, the first time you move out, there's still differences that you don't ever expect. But then you may still be wondering why I'm at home and why this is my Christmas tree and this is my living room sofa. I'm home for Christmas. I generally don't come home on the weekends. A lot of people do, a lot of people go home every weekend. I have just been so busy at uni. Like I said, I'm thriving, I'm having a great time socially. I've always just been too busy to come home, but I'm home for Christmas, I'm spending some time with the family, and it's good. I think my past 3 months haven't been documented enough, so what I'm gonna do is flick through my phone, which is down here, and go through everything that I've recorded, every photo I've taken, and see if I can piece together the past 3 months of my life, because they just haven't been as well documented as they normally are. Another change to the mise-en-scène. I'm such a film nerd. Okay, I'm scrolling all the way back to the 17th of September, which is when I moved in. I've got the first SU night. Oh god. There's just lots of wristbands, glow sticks, and shouting. Oh wow. Oh, there's a big photo of, it's like our entire flat and some people from downstairs. I was so drunk in that. The obvious hipster photos of Founders Building. Oh, me and some sheep. My first photo in Imagine. Imagine is amazing. It's like a bubble tea place on campus. That's where I chill all the time. Freshers formal. Basically what happened was we had this entire event in the middle of one of the founders' quads. I don't really like the idea of a formal, but that was a fun night. The first time I went to the fruit fair on campus and I found a papaya so big it covered up somebody's head. The time Katie was too tired to go into her flat. The first time I went to London, I did actually vlog that. And there's me admiring all of Studio Ghibli movies. There's a time right at the end of September where I came into some money, so we went to Medicine and I bought everybody pizzas. Oh damn, the first time I ever did anything with Hoon, we went to New Malden and we got Don Katsu and we went to this Korean restaurant. Oh my god. Hoon's like my new best friend. We hang out a lot. Here's all of the photos. The first time I went to Windsor and I hung out with all the swans. The swans there are amazing. They all look like the number 2. And then there was the time when somebody from a flat downstairs brought a bike into their flat, covered the floor in mud, and they had to just like scrub it with everything. See, that's the thing about living in halls. You're so controlled no matter what. Like, people can just walk into your room to service parts of your room and you just feel really violated all the time. And then me and Georgie made bubble tea. You know what? A lot of my social interaction has been based around cooking and making food. I think that's just because I've got a kitchen and I've always liked to cook, and it seems so natural. Like whenever I want to socialize with people, I just invite people over and we cook food. It's just nice. Although most of the time it's something really ambitious. In fact, this is the first time I made kimchi stew with Hoon. Oh my god! And then we went to Fort Park for Fright Nights, and the queues were like 3 hours long for everything. Barely did anything, but I just hung out with Hoon all day again. There's a photo here from the 18th of October of Matt taking a photo of me. Shout out to him. And that was also the first night we got free sushi. I'm not going to tell you how to do that. It's a Royal Holloway secret, and that dies with me. We got my first run in Windsor Great Park, although it's only really just a picture of my feet and then a totem pole. Oh, here we go. Here's a slightly more photogenic picture of kimchi stew. You can really kind of see my cooking getting better through all of these. Towards the end of October, there were a few really good nights out. I say really good, I just got insanely drunk. Not necessarily a good thing. One of them, we went to the student union and there was somebody dressed as Mr. Blobby walking around, and there are some ridiculous photos of me up against Mr. Blobby. The next day after that I was super hungover, so me and Hoon decided to roast a chicken because we thought that'd be a good idea to have a roast dinner. I can't really cook British food. We gave it a go. It wasn't that great. It was kind of raw, so we needed to cook it more. Just leave the roast dinners to your parents, people. They're not very good when you try them at uni. We did do face masks afterwards to chill off though. That is a photo and a half. I took part in a video shoot shortly after that. That was for, I think, people who studied business, but there was a dress and some beauty products or something. It was shot in Founders. It was this really nice shoot. There's some video here of me Skyping with Shota from the 23rd of October. And then it was Halloween. I didn't carve any pumpkins because we never really did Halloween in this household. But there were some really nice pumpkins. Real quick before actual Halloween though, on the 27th of October, that's when I dyed Hoon's hair. Specifically, I bleached it. We were gonna go all out, like bright blonde, or like dye it a different color, like mint or red, or just, we were gonna go crazy. But you couldn't deal with a bleach, so we just washed it out and it's kind of brownish now. And then there was when my friend Patrick came to Royal Holloway for Halloween. I mean, you'll know Patrick from some vlogs if you've watched all of them. He's insane. He stole a fire extinguisher from Founders Building, ran around with it, and then popped the pin out of it in the middle of Founders Quad and just ran around spraying it in the air. He soaked me with water. It was so stupid. It was funny. I'll give him that. It was very funny, but it was really stupid, and I had to take a fire safety course even though I wasn't involved at all. I was telling him the whole time to put it down. The stupidity of that is going to be emphasized really soon, but let me just do this all in chronological order. Oh god, he dressed up as a slutty Ebola nurse for Halloween. And then on the 5th of November, me, Hoon and Sayaka, who started hanging out with more, went into London to do a Japanese tour of London. We went and we got matcha lattes and we went to Japan Center.
It's so expensive.
We went to go see the Hanabi fireworks. Although we ended up getting fireworks thrown at us, which was not fun. I did actually vlog that day though, so that's pretty well documented. And then a day later I made stir-fried vegetables with purple sweet potato mash, and people thought I was eating alien food, and I'll give them that. It does look kind of scary, but I mean, it's still a sweet potato. And then the day after that, because I wasn't done with experimental cooking apparently, I tried to make rice burgers, which are just burgers with rice as the buns. Not so easy to make. Apparently this is a complete streak of experimental cooking, because the day after that, Hoon made us Japanese curry, but instead of putting one little square of chocolate in, which is what some people do, he put an entire fucking bar. It tasted exactly what you might think a bar of chocolate melted into a tiny bit of curry would taste like. And then I went back to Birmingham to visit. We went and got Kababish, and I went to a club and I took a bunch of photos where I looked insane. And I obviously had the obligatory roast dinner you have to have while you're at home on a weekend. And it was far better than the one I tried to make. There was one night where I had to do table service at work and I had to have my hair up in a man bun and it looked like this. And then when I took it out of a bun, it looked like this. Here's a bunch of photos that I took with Hoon in Windsor Great Park while we were running. We even did a face swap, and that is terrifying. And then there was the Japanese boat party in London. That was all of the Japanese societies in London got together and hired a boat, and I went with Clara, who isn't part of the Japanese society, and she isn't Japanese, she's actually French. My Japanese is shit, so we basically just chilled together. I talked to a few people, it was quite interesting, but basically I went because there was a boat. A couple days after, I ran all the way to Windsor from uni, which was insane. That was like 15 miles through the park. And then the day after, we went for karaoke in London, and oh my god. That was so good. I did a real Slim Shady in a British accent, and I hope I have a copy of it on my phone, but if not... And Dr. Dre said, "Nothing, you idiots, Dr. Dre's dead, he's locked in my basement." And then we signed a deal for our house, and we went to Monkey's and we got Prosecco. Monkey's has since been shut down, it was our student pub, but that went. Bunch of photos here from a night out. I think this was the soap party. Yeah, this was the soap party. I actually live streamed that on Facebook and people were watching me getting covered in soap. Then I powered through an essay with Georgie and Jordan. And then my most unlucky day of the year so far. So I was gonna do a bunch of stuff with some friends. All of that got cancelled. And then I thought, well, I've got a free day, why don't I just go into Richmond, I'll buy some nice food, I'll come back and cook it, I'll go to Whole Foods, it'd be great. So I got on the train, turned out that there was rail replacement and the trains were a mess, so it took me ages to get to Richmond. Then I got my train back home and the trains were also a mess. It didn't stop at Egham. I got dropped at Virginia Water, which is the next station down. It was tipping it down, there was a massive Uber surge charge. I was gonna just bite the bullet and get the Uber, but my phone died because it was cold. I tried to walk home, but then it was raining so badly that the paper Whole Foods bag in my hand was dissolving, so I was gonna lose all the food that I'd bought that day, but I was really looking forward to going home and cooking. I made it to a pub halfway between Egham and Virginia Water, and I had to call for a regular taxi from there, which cost me a tenner to get home. I did not have a fun day. The only photo I have from that day is me holding a kombucha at the train station. Shut up, phone. But it's okay, because the day after, we flew to Amsterdam for 15 hours, I think. We didn't bother booking a hostel, we literally went to Amsterdam. First thing in the morning, watched the sunrise from a plane, and ran around the city all day. It was amazing. We just tried to see as much as we could. And then the day after I got back from that, I made Korean barbecue with Hoon and Sayaka. And we did face masks. My camera just died and I ran out of SD space simultaneously. But that's okay, because we pretty much made it to the modern day. The modern day? That sounds so clunky. I had Korean barbecue with Hoon, that was fun. And then I ran to Windsor with Sayaka all day one day. There were a lot of swans. As far as phone stuff, that's it. There's just one more story I wanted to tell you, which I alluded to earlier. One night I was working in Founders and I was serving chip potatoes, you know, regular Founders stuff. For those of you that don't know, I just grab plates, I put the food that people order on them and I hand them over to them. Good job, pays £9 an hour. Very happy. We had a fire drill, we all left. We had to like usher people out, it was fine. We left the main building and stood outside and were told by fire marshals, this is just a drill, go back inside. Then it happened again 20 minutes later, we didn't take it very seriously. We just walked outside, guys, you're not gonna die, just keep walking. After 20 minutes of standing outside, we thought, are we gonna go back in at some point tonight? Like, this is kind of stupid, we've been standing here for ages. And then somebody said, this is not a drill, this is a real fire. There have been 2 fires found in Founders building. The context you need for this is that Founders was the second most flammable building in the UK until the first most flammable building in the UK burned down. So hearing that there's a fire in there when lots of people live inside there could have been people still sleeping in there, is not comforting. We made our way around the building and we saw smoke pouring out of one of the windows. There were visible flames. There were 7 fires in total set in that building. Everybody had different theories. It was clear that it was arson. Some people thought it was these neo-Nazis, because our school apparently has this rivalry with this neo-Nazi group. Some of them were fired because of their like political views, because they wanted to kill a bunch of Jews. It was a whole thing. It's not nice, but people thought it was them. It was not them. It was actually a 3rd year geography student who couldn't finish his dissertation, so he dropped out, did acid, ran around, set 7 fires with one of his friends. Obviously he's going away for a long time, but he tried to take from us our entire university existence pretty much. If Founders burned to the ground, I don't know what I'd be doing with my life right now, because it just would not be normal. Everybody who lives in there, they wouldn't have a home anymore, they wouldn't have anything to do. That's the heart of the entire university, and my life really would have crumbled. So the fact that somebody was so selfish as to, because they couldn't get a degree, try and take it away from other people, blows my mind. But some people just aren't good people. Anyway, that was me being all emotional about the Founders fire. I did get paid the entire time, which was pretty good, because I was on duty and we weren't officially dismissed, because we thought we'd have to go back in and clean up all the stuff that was left behind, all the food. I didn't have access to my phone, my wallet, anything for the next couple of days. The entire building was behind a police line. That was Term 1 at Royal Holloway. I hope you enjoyed my endless rant and stream of consciousness about that. I've run out of outros in the past 1,000 videos, so I'm just going to cover up the camera and then stop speaking. 'Cause it hurts so bad.